Raise it up, why? Raise it up. Raise it up, why? Raise it up. Hey, raise it up, why? Raise it up. Raise it up, why? Hey, raise it up. Hey, raise it up, why? Raise it up. Raise it up, why? Raise it up. North side, raise it up. South side, raise it up. East side, raise it up. West side, raise it up. 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 North side, raise it up. South side, raise it up. East side, raise it up. The west side, raise it up. 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 Raise it up.
Hey loves, hey loves, hey loves. My name is Wyann Vaughn. I also go by Y. This is another incredible episode of Raise It Up Why the podcast. We're coming at you the last Thursday, a thankful Thursday in November 2025, in an episode called Joy Comes in the Morning, or Joy in the Morning if I want to shorten it, and joy does come in the morning. You're going to understand what that means as we get into the episode. I have a nice couple segments for you. Let me continue to intro this pod. If you aren't familiar, Raise It Up Why is where OGs kick game to real ones only. OGs are original guides and the educators of my space, and real ones are the students, the educated folks in my space. I am also a real one, let it be known. And when I say we raise things up, we raise it up. We raise up your self-awareness, your vibration, and your capacity for love, which is knowledge. We do this using non-corny positivity in hip-hop culture from the West Coast to the mother-loving world. If you support this podcast, you are a part of love culture, whether you realize it or not. Well, there's three things that make you a part of love culture. One, you root yourself by listening to Raise It Up Why the podcast. So you're doing the first step already right here in real life. Number two, we do good for no good reason. On point blank and period, right at the intersection right there. And then number three, we treat all red-blooded humans with love and respect. If you can get with those three things, if you can feng shui with all those three things, then let it be known, whether you are a first-time listener or an OG veteran in my space, you are a part of love culture. If we speak every day, whether or not we do or not, you are a part of love culture. Whether you've ever reached out, DM'd on @RaiseItUpY across social media platforms, if you've ever visited the website, if you've ever come to any of the Emotions concerts and seen me in person, if you've gone to any of usually Terrace Martin's shows around Los Angeles and seen me as a part of it, if you get up with Amber and Moonchild and you've seen me in her space anywhere, whether I've seen you, touched and known you, had the opportunity to hug on you or not, if you are a love from a distance, you are in love culture. All right. Make no mistake. Love has no roaming plans. So it can love just as effectively long distance. So own that, have that, live that, love that. And we are here with Onette Ashe _ at the least. Onette _ Ashe behind that camera right there. And Susie Cusey with us in spirit all the ways. 13 Princesses in the motherfucking house. But I wanted to give this beautiful little intro. I'm going to dive right into the episode. This episode is about joy. I haven't stopped smiling. If you're listening, thank you for your non-refundable time and energy. I haven't met a person who can unhear yet, and faith comes by hearing. So it's very important that you listen to this podcast. If you're watching the show of this podcast, wherever it can be consumed, then you are getting the beautiful view that Heroni Arrangements, that'll come up at the end and pay your dues. And this entire set that's here, all the pieces that you can see, all the pieces that you can't see, that I can see, all my little moving parts on this side of this damn table and everything. Just know, I think at the 11th month of 2025, I'm ready for an episode about joy. So I'm in a really good way. And let's ground the episode. I'll talk to you about that on the other side of the grounding. For those of you who have been here, you know I am a trained therapist, non-traditionally practicing, and an edutainer, an educator, equal parts educator and entertainer. So what ends up happening is when we come here to my space on Raise It Up Why, I get to kind of gumbo all of my pieces and put that together. And the most therapeutic thing about this podcast probably that's consistent is this grounding introduction. Let's just separate the time and space from whatever type of time you was on before you got here to where you are right now that you're here. Being present is a present. One of our episodes is called that back in the day. But being present means that you, the psyche of you, the energy of you, the mind of you is where your feet are, where your feet and your toes are. And I'm praying that those are with you and the rest of your physical body. And if not, God bless you in that way too. However, we ground, we separate the type of time and energy that we was on before we came here to how we are now with a little poem. I invite you to keep your eyes open if you're driving. Don't let this buttery voice fool you. If you are doing almost anything else and would like to, I invite you to close your eyes and take a moment. Be here with me. Hear my voice. Feel your feet. Wiggle your toes. Touch your nose. You're just doing all those silly things to remind you that you're here. Breathe a breath in. Blow a breath out. Do that again. In through your nose. Out through your mouth. Take a moment. Own this. You're living a miracle. It's called life. That you are breathing, you are winning just because you are living this life. And just by spending this time with my voice right now, you, love, are investing in your betterment. I would like you to sit with that and feel proud. And let's go up. On the other side of this intro and on the other side of this grounding, I want to inform you that we are doing 2 of the 5 segments, as we always do per episode. Today, the segments we will be delving into are Raise 'em Up and another High Why, like we did last episode. Raise 'em Up is the portion of the podcast where I get to impart upon you information from my edutainment brain. So you guys get to see a glimpse of what it feels like to have been with Professor Y. Hello? Miss Y, as most of my students call me, young and old and all that good stuff. And then when we get to the High Why after this, it will be the portion of the pod where members of Love Culture have written in an actual question that I get to answer here on the pod so that they can hold it and forever keep it and continue to inspire themselves whenever they come back to listen to it. And we're doing both of those things before we get into a Wyann's Words of Wisdom. At the end of the episode, pay some dues and get up out of here. Okay? I plan to keep you for a good time, but not a long time. Okay. Raise 'em up. Joyful, joyful Lord, we adore thee. God of glory, Lord of all. Hearts unfold like flowers from Haroni. Talk to her. Hello? I didn't even know that was going to be said. Clocked it like it was tea. Hello. Let me tell you something. So, shouts out to my students at USC, because there is a difference between clocking tea like this or clocking tea like this. And because that kid is not here, yes, I'm talking about you, Langston. If that child is not here, I'm not going to allow myself to become distracted trying to remember. Yes, Sit Lolly, you are who I'm also thinking of. Okay, boom. Joy, the kind of year I've had informed me that joy was on the horizon for me. And if you're familiar with God in a Christian way, there's a passage in the Bible somewhere that says, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. And I firmly believe that. And I'll talk more about some of my coworkers and everything. Shouts out to Dr. Sean out right in here in the beginning of this episode. I'll talk about some things in the Wyann's words of wisdom that also go with this theme of joy. However, in the Wyann's words of wisdom, I'll tell you why you're getting this raise them up. That's how we'll do that. Let me even make a note of that because I have a good habit of saying that I'll do something in these episodes, and I'll be listening back like, hey, she never said the thing she was going to say. And I'm like, because that's how my brain works. Like, don't be on a sermon or like in like imagine like a TED talk or something like that. And then you say, I have 5 points for fill in the blank. Wyann will hold you to that because I will sit there. I am an avid note taker, damn near obsessive compulsive, and I will be there. So if someone says number 1, number 3, number 4, number 5, I'll write editors. I will call CEOs out. Where's number 2? I need number 2. Where's number 2? You owe me one. I gave you all this time. You owe me one. You understand? So we are going to talk about tell why we got the raise them up. Okay, so then you understand the Dr. Sean reference. All right, boom, back. We back at raise them up. All right, so here go the thing. It's not just Dr. Sean, actually, and also I'll put Coffeeversary this year. Boop. All right, I don't know what that means. I sometimes leave myself hints so I can continue to do me. All right. I read a book. That's not unique. I read lots of books all the time. I just finished my most recent book, and I will be going back to this book again. The book is called Joyful by Ingrid Fetell Lee. Fetell is that middle name. Fetell, F is in Frank, Fetell. And I learned something. I learned 2 things particularly. I learned that joy is not an accident. Joy has a formula. The top vibrating emotions in order 1 through 5 are enlightenment, peace, joy, love, and reason. The 4 others that are not joy are vibrations you have to align yourself with, you have to practice to be in and be on. Boom, bap. It's like that, and that's the way it is. Joy can be fostered. Your environment can impose joy on your situation. And that's the way I'm framing it. Also, I just looked at the date. Happy birthday, my baby sister, Wyann Vaughn. Whitney Robinson Wiley. Hello. She's married. And also happy birthday, Great Luck, formerly known as Bad Luck 354 on Instagram. I just looked at the date. So November 15. And this is also the day that this is my anniversary for being on the Chatty House from the pandemic times. Thought that, what a time to be alive. So Ingrid Fetell Lee writes this book, and it informs me about 2 things. 1, joy is no accident. There's a formula, there's a pattern to joy. How you feel it, when it comes up, what's around, physical things. I'm going to tell you about my notes that I took in just a second from there. But you got to hear what number 2 I discovered. What number 2 I discovered about joy after completing Ingrid Fetell Lee's book is that it basically could have been my autobiography. I'm a joyous chick. I'm a joyous person. And I hope you guys get to catch this episode. I brushed my back teeth for y'all today. Hello? I always brush my back teeth. But anyways, no, I'm just a smiley girl today. And this will make sense as you continue to listen to the episode. Also, I'm being my tamed hip hop self. We have new members of Love Culture, Aiden, who is 6, and Josh, who is 8/9. He's around there. And they learned about Love Culture and they learned about Raise It Up Why, and they promised that they wanted to listen, and their parents told me that they would allow them to listen to next episode. So I know I dropped a D word earlier already, but I'm going to work to keep this episode one that Aiden and Josh can listen to. Shouts out to you, Mom and Dad. I hope you all are enjoying your items from when I had the pleasure of meeting you the other night with Opa_collection. We'll talk about her and all that in a minute. So just so you guys know, it's not a you're not tripping. The hip hop Wyann is definitely with the advisory sticker, but transparent, like it's like kind of faded, low key, because I'm not dropping like the F-bombs. So it's like it's like faded. Anyway, y'all check me out. The second thing about this autobiographical learning of being this joyous, sort of upbeat person, and I think most of you who know me in real life know that that is really, truly how I am. Here is the auf Deutsch Unterschied, in German, the other side, to being highly aligned with joy as a human. As Dr. Brene Brown put it in a very recent interview she did on a podcast, joy is one of the most vulnerable emotions to experience. And also, because of its vulnerability, it can shake people to their core who experience you and recognize how far from joy they actually dwell in their skin, in their psyche, in their real life. Stated differently by Dr. Mario Martinez, joy to the person not ready to experience joy feels like poison. Joy to the person not ready to experience joy feels like poison. Harken back to the top of the year. Y'all know I have A Woman Winnin in the West, my first book of prose that I've ever put out. Came out as an ebook on the first 13 of the year. And the 13th chapter is called Sit Your Happy Ass Down Somewhere. A sentiment that has been shared with and to me from two, not one, but count them, two students in my collegiate professing career. I'm like, wait, who talks to their professor this way? What in the whole damn? But no, I won't spoil that chapter, so I'll allow you all to experience that chapter for yourself. It goes with this second point here, experiencing joy to a person who is not familiar with feeling or experiencing joy. It feels like an indictment on their character. It feels like a who the F do you think you are and how the H did you get in my life? Why? Why do I have to be faced with this, with you, from you, in this setting like college, where I kind of have to come if I want to get my grades so I can kind of invest in my own future? Like, damn, I wish you were someone that was on the street that I could bypass. I wish you were an option of a teller at a bank that I could just say no thanks and I'll go to the next lane that's open. But it's different, isn't it? When you're GE professor at USC or your academic advisor and counselor at another institution where I taught for nearly a decade. If I happen to be your teacher, your educator, and I'm standing between you and this 4 units, 2 units, 3 units, 1 unit in these higher educational settings, you're pissed, bro. You're a mad, sad pup is what you are in real life. And I understand it. I don't agree, but I understand. I don't have to be, in agreement with everything that I comprehend, right? So I recognized in reading this book that I'm sometimes a hard pill to swallow. Not because I've intentionally sought out to offend anyone, not because I want to, but because joy is a tough pill to swallow, especially to the person who enjoys life more like a dark cloud. And speaking of dark clouds, let's go back to number 1. Y'all want the recipe? Do you want the joy recipe? Do you, love culture? I think you do. I'm going to give it to you 22 minutes in. Write these down, 1 through 10, if you're ready to concoct joy in your world. 1, color. 2, abundance. 3, freedom. 4, harmony. 5, play. 6, surprise. 7, transcendence. 8, magic. 9, celebration. 10, renewal. Color, abundance, freedom, harmony, play, surprise, transcendence, magic, celebration, and renewal. You guys know I'm an educator. I have a propensity to say things 3 times because we generally remember 1/3 of what we hear. So I'm not just an educator and a freaking speaker podcaster. I'm like, I'm recognizing that a lot of this is the auditory learner's dream and almost no one else's. And even the auditory learner generally remembers 1/3 of what they hear. So I repeat things a lot. Let's break it down. Joy is color. The vibrance. Vibrance has a very similar word makeup to vibration, doesn't it? Right. Because color is light. And light is energy. You have more joy when you have color in your life. So to all of the people like me that generally wear black because it's slimming and white to accent it, and then it's fall, so I might throw on this chocolate brown big ass jacket or, my brown Uggs or whatever it is that I'm putting on, right? A pop of color, kids. And I'm talking about in your environment. I'm talking about Wyann journaling, and now I journal with colorful gel pens as well. Because I add color. I hide joy in my life. Let's get to abundance. Number 2, abundance is modified by sensation. Can you eat, smell, touch, taste, feel your joy? When I wake up in the morning, she give me breakfast in my bed. It's a Snoop song. And when I need a little loving, she quick to give me head. Now that's not the night. Listen, I'm sure that brings joy to someone, right? Maybe me too. But the idea is, hello? When I wake up, right after I do my morning affirmations, my feet touch the ground. First thing I do, drink 16 ounces of water. I taste. I turn on my diffuser. Well, diffuser in the summer and candle in the winter because it's just going to be colder, so the fire. So now I'm getting the house smelling like something. Can you smell the candle that's diffusing right now? Okay. It's on a candle warmer thing. I love that smell. It's saffron jasmine. It's, if you go closer to that and smell like the center of it, like we're smelling it good over here. If you get right up on it, it's a little intoxicating low key. But I saw that and I smelled it. I says, I think this is going to be extraordinary. And it was. And just that sensation of that good smell, and I'll burn some dragon's blood sage or something like that. Just arouse the sense, right? Get the sunlight in, visual, right? Get the sunlight in. Natural sunlight, of course, is also a source of vitamin D. You know, shouts out to everyone else that gives me vitamin D. Everyone else, that sounds insane. Just the person that gives me yeah, for sure. This anyways. Also, sunlight is serotonin boosting, so you got that. But as you guys can see what I'm talking about, I journal this stuff. I'm listening to positive stuff. I listen to my either my meditation type stuff or whatever, or yeah, that's not usual, is it? Yeah. These niggas is right over our heads. The airplane. And that usually doesn't fly that low. Look at how low that is. It has it rattling in here. Sensation. Sensations. Boop, boop. Will arrive. Okay. But yeah, no, sensation. That's the abundance that we're talking about. It kind of warms. It kind of, it's all around you. You put that joy all around you. You wake yourself up with that abundance. Textures, different textures. Some people will wear like this right here with this. Ooh, those are actually two good textures, for real, for real. Why I love Uggs. No socks too. Clean feet though. Don't be that person. Clean feet. What a weird world if you did not just step out of the shower into your sorry, I didn't mean to yell. Sensation. 3, freedom, 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 I can't lose. Freedom, cut me loose, yeah. Freedom. Number 3, you modify this with nature. Nature is one of the most free things you'll experience. No, that does not mean going to visit animals at the zoo. That's visiting nature, but that's not natural. I'm talking about go walk in a park somewhere and see the snake that's not caged. Hello? Yes. Just see it. Don't experience it. Just see it. Right. I thought it was so interestingly placed that right after freedom, she talks about harmony, and in harmony, she brings order into the conversation. Joy has to do with feeling free, but the other side of feeling free, when there's no order, it's chaos. Freedom theory is chaos theory turned on its head. So what harmony does is you take your unique shape of you, whoever and whatever you are, and you watch the interplay, the relationship between your uniqueness and your unique space in life, and you see how it plays with everything around you. That's the order of a thing. Finding patterns in things, that brings a form of order, right? So just so you recognize, freedom is 100% a component of joy. Freedom without order is chaos, though. That's not joy. That's stress, right? Again, too much order, too much pattern. Now you're captured. Now you're in no man's land. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're in solitary confinement, imagine. That's like taking all your freedom away and putting only a sense of predictability in your world. You know what I'm saying? So the two extremes are both just as harmful. Too much freedom, chaos. Too much order, constriction, solitary confinement. Both will drive you mad, right? It's the interplay. harmony, how those things work. Speaking of interplay, play, number 5, is the only human behavior performed strictly for delight. Is that not gorgeous? Play is the only behavior performed strictly for delight. Yeah, you might get some delight out of sex. Sex has an actual functional, keep human species alive purpose, right? You might enjoy working out. Keeping your body active, though, is something that has a whole separate purpose that includes things like cardiovascular health, flexibility, durability, endurance, fun stuff like that, right? The only act just for joy is play. Something one of the reasons my dad continues to work out at 71 years old, he said, I learned after I graduated from high school, no one is going to force me to recess anymore. No one says, hey, make sure you take some time to play. So he uses his workouts like his playtime. It's like recess. And he's 71 and his cardiologist just told him, you have the heart of a 25-year-old. I'm going to leave that story there so he seems like the champ, because I could tell you what his other doctors have said too, but we're not going to go there. You see what I'm saying? Balance, order, freedom, order, huh? Okay, that was play. Surprise is number 6. Surprise is the delight of an unexpected difference. So imagine one of the examples of order. Let's say you move somewhere, you want to have some nice things in your house, but you're in New York and you're in an apartment that's $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month, however much it costs. And you have like a shoebox for an apartment, but you're right in Manhattan. You're right where you want to be. There's very little in the world of, let's say, bringing in interior design or bringing in like all of this possibilities for decoration, delight, decor, expression of yourself, freely expressing yourself. There's you have to say a lot with a little. So she says, if you ever want to feel like you want order or harmony in, let's say, your closet, go get all your hangers the same color, the same texture. It's one of the next things I'm doing, by the way. But you put them all up, and then when you interplay harmony with surprise, pink, 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 talking about hangers, pink, peach, pink, 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 pink. Give yourself that little delight, that little surprise. She gives a story. She's at a very stressful meeting. She moved across the world to take on this high-paying job. She was stressed. She was this, she was that, C-suite people. And she looked down at all these people who had on, of course, like the cool grays and white, black of, corporate America. And this one dude, he had on like confetti socks or like socks with like smiley faces or something like that. But he just gave this pop of energy at his sock level. And she said she remembered seeing that. And the surprise of seeing something that colorful in that drab room in that serious setting, it just broke the ice completely with her. And she said she looked at his socks and then looked up at him. He recognized that she had looked down. He went, wink, and completely broke the ice. She sold what she needed to sell. Like the big deal was done and blah, blah, blah. All these cool things when you just have the ability to delight in something new, unexpected, and different. And it also calls you to be present. Surprise demands your presence, right? If you almost trip and fall, didn't that surprise your ass? And you be present. Whatever you were stressing over, roll that ankle. I don't wish that on any of you. Sorry about that. And sorry, Aiden, because I definitely said a bad word. Please look at your mother so she can tell you never to say that word again. Transcendence. Transcendence is another piece of joy. And do you know how simple transcendence is? It goes like this. Look up. Almost everything that brings you joy asks you to look up. Also, going back to play. Play has a shape. Sphere, circle, round. So now think about when someone lets go of balloons, hot air balloons, fireworks, all these things, they give you this delight. You just came back from Europe. When you go to see this architecture of these beautiful buildings, and it requires you to, it almost, transcendence to me, it almost reminds you of how magnificent things are, and how you are a vital piece, but a relatively small piece to this big thing called life. And there's a humility that kind of comes with it. It keeps you humble, but it also keeps you in awe. You know what I'm saying? Magic, speaking of things that keep you in awe, not just awe, but in wonderment. Magic is the power within a landscape that gets personified. She has some really good examples of this. Some of you guys know the only profession I ever wanted to be before an entertainer was a magician. I traded in magicianship for musicianship. Talk to her nice forever. Magic is the wow factor in life. Magic is one of those things that can take the 93-year-old and revert them back into a 6-year-old, clapping and entertained at something that they didn't think was possible. And it kind of reminds us that many things are possible. And for my people who look at God in a Christian way, all things are possible for those who love the Lord. Not only that, all things work together for good for those who love the Lord. If you look at life that way, I definitely don't push any type of religion on this pod. I push love, love, positivity, and respect. That's what I push. You know, everything else, I don't care what happens after that, but keep it a stack, keep it a beam, be good, and do good for no good reason. Okay, love culture. Number 9, celebration. Celebrate good times. Come on. Doom, 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 boom, boom, doom, doom. Yahoo! Whenever you hear that song, guess what? You're not taking a midterm. You're not stuck in a traffic jam. And you keep that song on knowingly, unless you're trying to lift your spirits. The last time out in the wild, if you will, that I heard celebrate good times, I was on a cruise. And it was the first day of us being on the cruise. And it was not 4th of July. It was no one's wedding. It was just, hey, y'all out of work. You ain't got no job. It's not true. I had a job. But I'm just saying, like just y'all are on this boat. Get away from the regular. Celebrate good times. Come on. I'm talking about music helps you celebrate. What does my boy Jimmy Jam say? Music sells everything but itself. But music sells a moment. Why is music so important? Why is the attack on actual creativity within music such a devastation? Because music in real life is our soundtrack. If you just watched a movie without any of the sonics, especially not just the music, like the soundtrack, I'm talking about even the scoring of the music. You don't know something is scary until you hear those ominous strings. There's a sound that comes with this stuff. Music is the soundtrack of our celebrations. Sometimes you break up with someone and you have an album that is like, this is going to get me through this. And after I get done with this heartbreak, I'll never listen to this album again. Unless I want to feel sad. I may or may not have a playlist that is just of breakup songs. But if I'm being honest, it's called Party Like a White Girl. Because I have like really good breakup songs from white people on there. I have some really good other songs too, but it's just like when I really want to get in my Alanis Morissette bag and yeah, I don't know. Yeah. The idea being though, communal sharing of joy. When you celebrate, joy multiplies as it's divided. You divide up that feeling of joy with your friends and you multiply how it feels in your life. All right? Go to a parade. Didn't the Dodgers just win? Bitch, I'm from the land. Don't say you hate LA when you don't travel past 10. Hey, listen. And if winning in Toronto, I'm not even going to touch that. If winning in Toronto wasn't enough of a W for this city again, coming back to LA on Monday and putting Onette in 2 hours of traffic that usually takes her about 30 minutes. Do you know how many people was at the parade? I don't know if they said. I know it sold out in minutes. And I know that it culminated at the stadium and the entire place was sold out. People were in the streets in downtown LA. I know that. So, you guys, listen. One moment of a win and it multiplied across thousands and thousands. And I'm talking about 6 figures worth of people in Los Angeles. Just the ones that overtly celebrated, that didn't just play hooky and not go to work in real life. You understand me? Communal sharing of joy is celebration. And that's when you call into things like food, right? Don't flowers help you celebrate? Hadoni arrangements. Don't like beautiful gifts like jewelry, Opa collections help you celebrate? So renewal is number 10. Renewal is restoration. And I took this quote from the book. Spring comes when it's time. Meaning, joy is also about recognizing that life has its own cycle. Time isn't linear, it's cyclical. And in its circular, cycle-like existence, you got to know that no emotion lasts forever. Not heartbreak and not joy. But rather they will oscillate between one another. Sometimes like the DNA strands, helix, you know what I'm saying? They'll interplay with one another. And sometimes they're just opposite sides of a circle. And you'll experience one arc and then it'll dovetail and give it over to the other. And waves of grief and joy will return and waves of joy and grief will return. You know what I mean? So when you restore yourself, when you remind yourself the importance of, oh, you've been going hard in the gym, you've been working out 3 days in a week, 4 days in a week, 5 days in a week, you need some rest days though. And not just like 5 days go hard, 2 days of rest on the weekend. No, you need to interweave that rest. Any of you out there with your strength training, you interweave rest in the session of strength training. That's the restoration piece. You have to allow joy. You have to give it a bed to come home and lay down in. So sometimes when there's been a lot going on, what ends up happening is you give yourself that opportunity to come back to homeostasis, come back to zero, come back to yourself. And that's how you renew joy. And it's also the topic I'll discuss a little further in the Wyann's Words of Wisdom and why it's important to keep some joy around you and within you so that you can have those moments of renewal and restoration. All right? For all of my workaholics, for all of my people that, no, I'm going to grind it out. No. A man who has the most money in my entire phone is who told me I needed to start taking vacations. No other person in my life, no work environment, no one has ever encouraged me to vacate, to take vacations. The man with the most money and resources in my life is the person who mentored me into vacationing. He said, how do you expect for us to do everything that we do if we never take time to put back into ourselves? I'm going to say this a third time. The man with the most money in my phone, and I got a lot of people I know with a lot of money, is the only person who has ever encouraged me to take vacations. Because how else will we be more productive if we don't put the gas back in the tank so we can keep driving down this journey of our road, right? It is a rich, abundant mentality to rest, to renew. It is a poor, scarce mentality to work, grind, hustle hard. I'll sleep when I'm dead. No, that is the rat race. That is poor mindset, impoverished mindset at play. Joy is not only afforded to the rich, but I'm telling you something that they get to do, that they know to do, that sometimes if you don't have millionaires in your phone, or if you don't have people in your Rolodex around you that are millionaires, billionaires that can tell you some of this stuff, please learn it secondhand from Raise It Up Why the podcast. Renew yourself. You are your biggest commodity and your greatest asset. If you blank out, crash out, faint, lose, your bloodline is done. Treat yourself invaluably like you are. Wrapping this up, this Raise 'em Up segment. Joy is a mixture of color, abundance, freedom, harmony, play, surprise, transcendence, magic, celebration, and renewal. I've been waiting to tell you guys that. I don't know why. That was something that I really wanted to do. And if I don't sound as happy anymore, it's because something is in my left eye. Surprise! Hi Why comes from a member of Love Culture named at Miss O Faith on Instagram. I asked Miss O Faith specifically to give me this hi why because this Sunday, you guys won't get the privilege of this because when I say this Sunday, it'll already have happened when this episode comes out. We will be having a light work. Light work is my personal mentorship, professional mentorship, peer mentorship program that I designed back in 2021 that I impart with Love Culture only. And it's one of the only spaces where I have folks invest overtly, monetarily into spending time with themselves to figure themselves out and about, right? And Miss O'Faith was the most avid voice for the next one of these that we're going to do. And I told her to get more bang for her buck because she initiated this. I said, ask me a question that I can also answer on the pod so you can have even that. And she obliged me. Her question, what does accepting your imposter syndrome look like? What does accepting your imposter syndrome look like? And I thought this was such an interesting way to ask this question. And I say that because I don't know that we accept our imposter syndrome as much as maybe we we heal our imposter syndrome. I say that because, this year we're building out our 7th year of the pod. And in building out our 7th year, we are definitely blessed enough to have had some really amazing folks be a part of this podcast. And 2 of those folks come in the form of the masterminds of the podcast. Episode 37, back from 2021, is called How Do I Deal with Imposter Syndrome? So I wanted to throw back to you all the fact that we've dealt with imposter syndrome at length with two other therapists. I'm a trained therapist, non-traditionally practicing, but we have trained and traditionally practicing therapists here in Love Culture, and they gave their really good information and feedback about dealing with imposter syndrome on Raise It Up Why episode 37. I just want to make sure I throw it back to that episode. Every episode in 2025, we've been kind of doing some soft handoffs to episodes that we've already done in order to make sure you all know the breadth of what we've covered in our coming up on 7 years of being in existence. So I'm really proud of that, and I'm really proud of us. So Miss O'Faith, go look back at, I want to say it was November 2021's episode of Raise It Up Why, and be sure to take notes on all of the ways that urban_counselor and Mitsun Okeda spoke on dealing with imposter syndrome overtly. Ways that we deal with imposter syndrome vary. And I say they vary because I looked up some of these theories just in a quick Google search and things. Imposter syndrome was not something that came up in my field of study. I also was in the study of doing social work with children, youth, and families when I went to school, as well as I hyper focused within my program on school social work. So dealing with kids and dealing with maybe students and things, it came up less. Now, once you start dealing with like grad students or once you start dealing with adults, I think imposter syndrome would have come up pretty well. It just didn't happen in my teachings. So, how do you overcome imposter syndrome is how this dynamic transition blog speaks about it, written by Dr. Lisa Obrey Austin, co-author of Own Your Greatness. She talks about a 3C model of overcoming imposter syndrome. You clarify, you choose, and you create. You clarify, you choose, and you create. Clarify means that you understand the roots of your imposter syndrome. 2, you choose. You make conscious behavioral shifts. And 3, you create and build environments that support growth. Under number 1, clarifying, identify whatever your origin story is. Sometimes we aren't even really having challenges that we believe or know that we're having. Sometimes it's the story we've told ourselves, or we are continuously telling ourselves about a particular thing that makes the doom and gloom happen within a relationship, feeling like a fraud and being unable to accept that you've earned your space in life, in your family, in your relationships, at your jobs, whatever it is. Identify your story. What is your origin story about said situation where you're experiencing this imposter syndrome? Number 2, know your triggers and trap doors. Know your triggers and trap doors. Your triggers are the things that you can experience if you hear a certain word, smell a certain scent, if you are in a certain situation that looks like a pattern that you've dealt with in times past, and it creates a version of you that is misaligned. Somebody, there are certain people who, you can call me this negative word, but if you call me that negative word, I'll turn all the way up. There's certain vernacular in New York that will make somebody go to blows, where in LA, that slang is different and it won't make someone turn to fighting. So I bring that up because when you're identifying those triggers, you can already know, hold on, this is something that I deal with without this situation where I'm experiencing my imposter syndrome. So you can start differentiating where you are showing up as the you in all of your situations, and it's not unique and specific to this situation that you're experiencing with your added pressures or added expectations where the imposter syndrome might be. And number 3, in this clarifying your situation, differentiating your origin story, learning your triggers and trap doors, you're also going to change your narrative about some of these things. You got to rewrite your narrative, rewrite your story. Learn what you actually want to be thinking and not just what you're thinking. In my coaching, this came up with Socratic questioning. You can look that up, anyone listening. And it makes you question the questions. It makes you analyze your thoughts. Think about your thoughts. Question your questions. You know what I'm saying? It's like a metacognitive thing that you do. I know I sound very therapeutic in this moment. I kind of heard myself right now. I'm like, nigga, these are a lot of words right now. But my bad, y'all. This is what she asked for. So I wanted to give her her money's worth. And some of y'all is going into your holiday situations, and that's where everyone is expecting you to be the fraud any the fuck way. Like, keep it a stack. Like, let's talk about it. Like, some of you are experiencing your fucking imposter syndrome because the first person that taught you you weren't worth whatever you've earned is your family. Keep it a full stack as you get ready for these fucking holidays. You know what I mean? Like, we're here at the end of November. I know what today is. Most people in this country call this Thanksgiving. Right? Some people just call it giving thanks on a day. And in recent times, when everybody's woke as hell, people look at this day differently. So that's why I don't even just say, oh, it's Thanksgiving. However you look at this day, a lot of y'all are going to be seeing your families. For a rose by any other name is still a rose. So I don't care what you call the day. A lot of y'all going to be eating this shit. Can we just let's keep it honest, right? You get to the family function, and while you trying to put the stuffing on your plate, oh, so you're the fitness instructor? It looks like you gained some weight though. Wait, huh? Wow, you over here talking about all this relationship stuff. Don't see you got a man. Wait, what? That's where you learn half this stuff that you're tripping off. Like, you know what I mean? So like, I just want you guys to know, like, a lot of us are dealing with this. It might not just be Miss O'Faith and me. I'm not going to speak for nobody else. I've dealt with this, and I'll talk about this at the end. Choose to make conscious behavioral shifts. Speak your truth, kid. Speak authentically. We was in the Love Lounge the other night, and our boy Roderick said one of the acts of self-love is just being honest. I told you this earlier. Just being honest. Just being honest. Some of y'all are at jobs you fucking can't stand. And when you come home and you're already in a snooty mood, nobody did it to you but you, because you choose to remain in a place. Well, the money is good. Well, then stop talking so much and complaining so much and being so passive aggressive, and just enjoy the fact that you have a job that you hate that happens to pay you well. But stop making all of us suffer because you're unhappy while you're well paid. See what I'm saying? Keep it honest. Speak authentically. Hey, you go to happy hour and you have a wine club on Saturdays, and you go to post yoga happy hour, and you drink a lot. Are we going to be honest? You drink a lot. So let's talk. Right? Like 3 and 4 figures a month on alcohol in your home. You drink a lot. Let's talk for real. But if you're the first person you lie to, what do you think you're doing to all of us? Even better, if you're comfy lying to you, how do you treat people who tell you the truth? That's the attack. Right? Like, so sometimes when we're dealing with imposter syndrome, we're getting our senses of self from people who refuse to look in a mirror, but they got all the stuff to say about you in the world. If you don't take an honest look at your origin story, though, and you don't start to recognize and pull yourself apart from these same people as you're about to see them during the holidays, you're going to be the one holding the bag. So speak your truth and be mother loving honest for your phase 2. After you clarify, you choose. You have to silence your automatic negative thoughts, says this author. Silence those critics. My therapist the other day, I said something and I was like, then I started talking to myself a certain way. She said, stop. See that wagging finger version of you. Who is that? I've spent enough time with you to know when you're being Wyann, and now I see when you're being people that you've been taught to be. Who is this? Ooh, you talk about that. Talk to them. I love having a black female therapist. She hip hop. She'll be like, oh, that's kind of like if the Clips was. I'm like, I know you better smoke this session, girl. Anyways, silence your automatic negative thoughts. When you start to go on autopilot, catch yourself. Why do we do grounding in this episode, in this podcast? To make sure that you're really here, not that you turned the podcast on in your background. It doesn't matter that you just turned the podcast on if you're not listening, and then you be like, oh yeah, I heard the podcast, but did you listen? Right. Complete difference, man. So get present and then value your self-care. Oh, wait, didn't I just spend a lot of time talking about the 10th tenet of joy and renewal, right? Value your self-care is a part of choosing a behavioral shift to get you over your imposter syndrome. This girl says mental rejuvenation, physical renewal is a part of getting over your imposter syndrome. Put some joy back in your life. I think that's another way to say that. Spend time with you. If you're an imposter in the mirror first, nigga, what are we doing? And then finally, in creating the environment that supports growth, experiment with new roles. If you're always the strong friend, go somewhere where you're the plus one. If you're always the educator, go somewhere where you're the student. Be in a new role. Get out. Shake shit up. Establish your dream team. Who are the people that help you feel like you have a sense of parity in a communal peer group? Hopefully it's love culture and things like that. But who's the mentor? Who's the cheerleader? Who's the grounded person? Who's the action planner? Who's the big thinker? These are people that can sometimes help you get out of your own head and be a part of something bigger than yourself. Establish your dream team. Also, create the conditions for optimal performance. It doesn't mean perfection. It means authentically you. That's very different. Perfectionism will put you back in to some doggone imposter syndrome, impossible situation where you feel like a fraud. Everybody's a fraud when you're measuring yourself up against perfection, right? Where can you just be you for real? And flaws and all, somebody sees you intimately, not romantically, intimately. That means close up, authentically. And they see you and say, job well done. Like God did when he created you. Created everything else and said good. Created man and woman and said very good. Where are you getting that sort of scene, right? Seen like this episode has seen its second low-flying airplane. Hello? My bad. Did you notice? Yeah. See? It's shaking. The house. Look. You hear it? Is it because of the rain? Do you think like the maybe the clouds are the planes might not be able to see.
It feels like something's open, but it's not.
Everything's closed. I closed everything before we started. Surprise! Parts of joy. No. And then sustain momentum through reflection. So it's not just enough that you start making these movements in order to start creating new environments that support your growth. It's that you keep revisiting and checking the checks in the balance system to make sure that this is doing something for real for you. So I wanted to provide you something from a space that was, reputable. Possibly a doctor wrote that for a website. I also want to share with you something we'll probably look at in the light work. Start looking at forgiveness. This helped me with dealing with my own imposter syndrome. In dealing with forgiveness, it's a process where someone who has been wrong chooses to let go of their resentment and treat the wrongdoer with compassion. When you are dealing with imposter syndrome, you did the wrong. And now you have to find compassion for the wrongdoer, who is the person looking back at you in the mirror. So when I talk about forgiveness, I want you to know that I'm talking about self-forgiveness. Real quick, self-forgiveness and what forgiveness is in general. It's a decision to overcome pain that was inflicted by you. We're talking about self. It is letting go of anger, resentment, shame, and other emotions associated with injustice, even though they are reasonable feelings. But you have to learn to transcend joy. Happens when you let go of the balloon. You got to let it go, right? And it's easier said than done because it means you have to process through it. That's why you do the Socratic questioning. That's why you do these processes. You have these conversations with your group. Love culture would be that for us, because that's the way to not get over it, get through it. Letting something go sometimes looks like wading through the water, right? Going through the thing and treating the offender. And if this is self-love and self-compassion and self-forgiveness that we're talking about, treating you with compassion, even though you're not entitled to it. If you've put you in the murky situation, you're not mad at your mommy and your daddy. You're mad at you. You're mad at yourself. And it's only when you're very honest, self-love, with yourself, that you break up from your origin story. Well, the reason I've had a hard life is because I was born into the system and then I got into the penitentiary. And in the penitentiary, like, that could be your real life and that can be your real story. And if anybody has performed actions that put them in a penitentiary, that means they caught you with the body. Not your mama, not your daddy, not your bad uncle that did the wrong things and didn't know how to keep his hands to himself. Not nobody else. You. Because when you're dealing with resentment and you're dealing with negative emotions and feelings that are squinched up in you, it can make you act wrong. And when you behave wrong, you go to jail. Not the origin story of why. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all remember the end of Precious? When the mom of Precious was talking about, well, I only abused her sexually because I was sexually abused. Mm-hmm. But guess what? She was the one going to jail. Right? Mm-hmm. Imagine if they say hurt people. So like, where does the passing the buck stop if not with you? It has to. What Mike say? I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Oh, yeah. Okay. Listen, I'm trying to give you guys all these aspects of joy. So I've been singing to you. I've been surprising you. I've been throwing jokes in there. If you're looking at this set, you see the color, you see the abundance. You can't smell how good a bitch smell. I'm using colorful language because I think Aiden went to bed by now. Sorry. No, I learned it in the last segment. I was like, man, I'm cussing up a storm. I'm so sorry, Aiden. But yeah, shouts out to Aiden and Josh. Miss of Faith, accepting or dealing with and overcoming your imposter syndrome needs and requires you to get present with yourself, to be kind with and to yourself, to forgive yourself for gaslighting yourself, and then to be really, really kind and friendly, aka self-compassionate towards you. All right? So that's the high why. We did the raise them up. Let's get into the Wyann's words of wisdom. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I wrote this to myself a couple months ago. And it was when someone didn't realize, I think I had posted something and I looked really pretty. And what I was doing was taking myself on a date and being kind to myself and beautiful to myself and showing up to and for myself. And I got a really nice compliment about looking beautifully. And I wrote myself something that said, please excuse me if I make heartbreak look beautiful. It's by accident, not design. My heart just happens to shatter and glitter. I thought that was pretty. It was cute. So, Wyann's words of wisdom today is sometimes your heart shatters and creates glitter or confetti. And confetti was under abundance for joy because it's like a textural thing. There was a company that you can buy something from, and the consumers started leaving these positive Yelps and different, ratings, because inside of every one of their mailers or their packets, there was this texturally different, beautiful, colorful confetti. And they became known for their confetti, which was the stuffing to the items people were buying. So imagine if they were buying clothes or appliances or tools, whatever they were buying, they were stuffing the item's box with confetti, like as a surprise. And people were so in love with it that they started like identifying the company by the confetti, not what they were ordering, not what they were known for or were in business for. So that also is not just abundance, that's surprise, because you didn't expect it. It brings you present, brings you that joy. It's colorful. There goes that part of joy. What you'll notice is as you get into that book and as you start to put joy in and around your life, we'll get into these flowers and the pay your dues, but the vibrance and the pale of the pink and the peonies and then the star lilies and then just this renewing green, not to mention that pink and green are the colors of the heart chakra. In general, they vibrate at a level that in Eastern culture heals the heart. Not to mention that flowers were brought up in celebration, the chapter about celebration. So there's sometimes things that we can put in our world that will enhance our experience of joy despite having dealt with some grief, some heartache, some shame, some discontentment, whatever your less than lovely emotion might be. When your heart shatters and glitter, people can notice your glow up and think that it's about likes or Instagrams or other versions of media, social media. You know what I'm saying? You're buying more dresses, imagine, and colors and stuff. And people is out here like, oh yeah, she trying to really get a new nigga. or I'm just showing up differently for myself. The way that we just told Miss O'Faith that imposter syndrome requires you to do a different action plan and show up in a way differently for yourself, renewing your self relationship with self-care. Yeah, it looks different. So I've been guilty this year. Y'all, I've been stealing. I stole this, but that's not the point. The story is just funnier when I say it like that, so I tell people that. But I hide pockets of joy in my life. Example, Onette, a moment ago before we started taping, asked, how was class yesterday? Yesterday was the 13th. You already know how I feel. JF Musics. 6 Teddy 13. Sky, y'all know how I feel. Huh? Maya over in Australia. 13's going high, you know how I feel. Ha ha. 13's fuck with why, you know how I feel. Ow. Anyways, that was another surprise. So I've been hiding pockets of joy in my life, and one of the ways I did that recently, yesterday, Layla Hathaway came to speak to my USC course, and one of my favorite humans outside of Layla is a woman named Amber Navrin, amber.jean on Instagram. She is 1/3 of This Is Moonchild on Instagram. The group is just called Moonchild. They have an album coming out at the end of February 2026. And when Layla was there, Amber said, I want to go to Layla's talk. I said, oh, and Amber's going to come talk too. She talked to my class a year ago. And Layla said, when Amber comes, I want to be there for the talk. I was like, oh, okay. So Layla comes and talks a couple weeks ago. And at the end of that class, Amber was like, what day do you think would be good for me to come? And I was looking down and I saw that the 13th was on a Thursday. I teach Tuesday and Thursday nights. I says, oh, I'm hiding joy for myself. And if you don't know my sis, Amber, she is this, what I called her last night, and my students and I had a whole moment trying to introduce her. I called her, and then they helped me remember what I said. The gorgeous orange goddess. That's what happened last night. And then I kept saying different words almost every golden corral. I said a whole bunch of shit that didn't need to be said last night. And my student was like, Miss, why you did not say that? I'm like, well, then tell me what I said. But anyways, the golden, gorgeous orange goddess. Okay. She's all colorful. She's vibrant, energetically bright. What you guys might not know about Layla Hathaway, she's all purple. And I made her aware of this last night. And she was like, I like purple? I said, Layla Hathaway, we are not doing this. So then you go in all of our chats, purple heart, purple heart. She's like, I like purple. I'm like, Layla, yes. And so this year I've been pink and gold. So like we've all been like color-coded little hearts in our text messages with one another. And I just knew I would want my uncle in heaven, Uncle Jew, used to say, oh, you just knew I wanted something sweet. Like if you came over and he didn't know you were coming over, he'd be like, oh, baby, you just knew I wanted something sweet. And it's like, that's me, Uncle. I'm here. So it was like hiding something sweet for myself. And to boot, I didn't only get Amber. I didn't only get Layla Hathaway, but a very good friend of Andre Mego's and mine, friend of ours, Phil Boudreaux, also came. And that's going to make sense when you start to hear about the music that Amber and I have coming. I can't reveal that right now. But my point is, I hid so much joy on the 13th. And I'm like, ooh, it's going to be a 13. Ooh. And I knew there was going to start raining and stuff like that. So I'm like, wait, let's just find ways to just have all the fun and be good. Man, The students, I don't know what the students got last night, respectfully. I took videos, so I'll know when I see it back. But I was in heaven. We was playing music, talking and connecting. And the students had really good questions, actually. So they were into it and stuff like that. But we were so present. It was gorgeous. Why this makes sense. So at the end of the night, I'm getting ready to go to dinner with Susie Cusey. I'm dropping Dr. Sean. Shouts out to Dr. Sean, largely responsible for how I got my cosign to become the professor of hip hop music and culture at USC. He is my co-professor this semester, which makes me happy. My brain doesn't hurt. Hello? So Dr. Sean and I are getting out of the car, and I'm dropping him to his car. And he says, hey, I just want you to know. I said, yeah. I listened to episode 88. I listened to the last episode of the podcast, Start Falling. I was like, oh, thank you for listening. He said, no, we're all here for you. We're all here for you. He's like, I never would have thought you would be living this year. And I was like, oh, right. I've been really resilient about things this year, but I haven't hid from love culture. I haven't hid from any of you in my honest expression of what it looks like to renew. I'm in a state of renewal. There's a remembering of Wyann and who and how she was. And in certain cases, I'm transcending who I ever was. I'm rewriting my origin story. And I don't know if I'm happier. I can't say that I'm, if in honesty, I can't say that I'm happier than I've ever been. But I am more joyful than I've been in years. Playful, colorful, surprising, harmonic. I stopped singing in a previous iteration of myself because I thought someone else's song sounded sweeter. That's called an alliteration. Fuck you guys. I know that's an alliteration right there. Last night I got tripped on the alliteration and assonance. So no, I heard that. Song sweet, singing. I heard all those S's. Syrup sweet. Suckers. Snakes. Whatever. I don't know. Fuck you me. But no, idea being, and I think I'm only able to feel this much joy because I felt my heartbreak. I still feel my heartbreak. I was accused of not showing up or showing up in spite of my heartbreak. And, you know, I do what I can. Something happened a couple months ago. And I says, really? Because in that same week, that same day, I landed some branding deals, finished a session. I says, I've been doing everything this whole year with my heartbreak connected to my passenger seat, like buckled up right next to me. I don't make excuses for feeling heartbroken. I get my shit done, bro. I made the same amount of money when I was happy. When things weren't like this. If anything, I just feel deeper because when you deal with grief and you deal with heartbreak and you deal with things that are sad, you're still talking about this second chakra if you're looking at this from a Eastern perspective. And when you look at the relationship between depth and height, going back to transcendence, going back to textures and abundance, you can't build a building taller than you've dug in its depth to support its height. You can't build a building taller in height than you've dug its depth to support that height. You can't feel immense joy if you've never allowed yourself to wallow and delve into and through your deepest pains. If you're avoiding your pain, you don't know the joy I'm talking about, respectfully. So when I say joy comes in the morning, like the name of this episode and some other things that Onette just heard and stuff like that sonically, if you've never wept deep through the night, you won't understand the height of the joy that comes tomorrow in that morning. But joy comes in the morning. Real joy, deep joy. And I love Dr. Sean. Let me help you guys out. My boy, Dr. Sean, became a fast friend and has done this USC thing with me side by side. Dr. Sean, I dealt with imposter syndrome. Onette was in the car with me spring semester when you went upstairs to get the change grade form. Do you remember this day? I want to say it was maybe March. When you went upstairs into your office to get the change grade form and we sat waiting on that, that street and things were falling apart at home. Dr. Sean didn't know it yet. You and I were figuring out what the fuck really was going on. And he came down and I signed whatever I needed to sign. We left. We went, we made that right on Jefferson. And I was going past the school and I said, I really work here. Do you remember this? That was all the same day. I said, I really work here. And you made a comment. I can't remember what you said, but I said, Onette, I just believed that I worked here right now for the first time. It's about to be the school year is about to have passed. And I'm just believing that I work here. Wow. I understood that then. I started accepting that, Wyann, you are a professor at one of the most prestigious universities in Southern California. Remember when we just did episode 88 and we did some of the behind the scenes content and the pictures? Thick Thighs got me that USC bucket. And I said, hey, give me that USC bucket. I want to take a picture with this USC, like next to me. That's 1 episode ago, 1 month ago, is the beginning of me accepting. I understood it. Acceptance, though. You see what I'm saying? I understood my heart was shattered in March. The music video, Rare. The song, Rare. We're rare, but if you don't see it, then I don't either. Song was written before the situation had occurred, but boy, was it apropos. Convince me that this ain't what it is, fine. It's not that you convinced me that it isn't what it is. It's I finally just believed that you didn't believe. So what does Mel Robbins, the current book I'm reading, say? Let them. Let them. People want to hate, let them. People hit up my friends and go on a campaign about I'm not this and not that. Let them. If any of my friends could be swayed away from me into whatever that was, let them too. Please let them. Which none of that happened, by the way. Shoot. Certain people within my family, certain things, think let them. Let them. I'm Gucci. I'm Gucci because I gotta be Gucci. I gotta be good, right? And so this whole idea of joy, on my coffeeversary, September 8th, 2025, we had just got off the phone for our weekly meeting. I went to the spot, got the Cuban, okay, for the first time. That day, I felt how long I'd sat with the heartbreak. And I said, something's changing today. And we could go look at my YouTube, go back in my YouTube. And I just YouTubed joy. And a few things came up. A gospel song came up. The song from Blackstreet. Just look what she's done for me. She's erased all my heartaches away. Oh, I can never repay her deeds, 'cause she keeps loving me every day. She's giving me joy, joy, joy. That girl, she brings me joy. She's giving me joy, joy, joy. All of that. Monday, 9/8/2025. I left from there. I got Boomer something. We went to the studio because he was finishing up the EP. All of this, I felt this joy. I felt things changing. But when I went to go research joy, only one name came up. Ingrid Fattel Lee. I watched her TED Talk, learned about joy quickly from that. I says, I need this woman's book. Bought her book, 360 moment. Now we're right back to the beginning. I felt joy because I sat with heartbreak long enough to feel it shift. The last clip on Instagram right now on the Raise It Up Wide page, the one we just had a love lounge about. You sometimes, Heidi Preeb, sit with that heartbreak, that grief, long enough for it to teach you why it's there. It's there to teach you what it came to teach you. Are you learning? Are you listening? You can't listen and talk at the same time. You can't teach and be taught at the same time. I am a student in life right now. Didn't I just tell y'all at the top of this episode? I am the educated. I am the real one. I'm a student in my space. Always. I learned last night from Amber. Layla came up and spoke some more. I learned from Phil. Dr. Sean teaches me. Theory, future Dr. Theory, talk to him nicely, teaches me. My TA. My students teach me. Woo! Some beautiful educators are my babies. If it wasn't against their confidentiality, I'd yell all their names out, not just Langston. I'm not saying their last name, so it's fine. But no, I want to be honest with this. There's a content creator named Kier Gaines, Kier, one of the most beautiful names, Kier. Such a gorgeous name. Kier Gaines. He's a husband, a father, a therapist, a black man, content creator. And I love his content because it's hella honest, thoughtful, compassionate, and real. And so he spoke about getting a lot of leadership content and conversation from content creators because he's like, I always see y'all when you figured it out. I never see y'all when you didn't have everything perfectly that you're talking about. You see the fitness model when she's hot. The fitness guy when he has the biceps and the triceps. I want to see when he called himself a fitness guru when he was 30 pounds overweight. And none of his muscles were bulging and showing. I want to see him claim it for himself then and work himself into it as he does it. Because for Wyann, I'm also a math instructor who likes showing my work. I had my best instructors demand that I show the work. You could have got the answer from the back of the book. You could have BBL'd to look like you do. You could have been in an arranged marriage and you were going to be married regardless of whether it was compatibility that put you there and that you worked hard, whatever. I respect the process, bro. Show me when you got the D first and then you got the D plus and then you got the C plus and then you got the B. Show me your road to the valedictorian. I appreciate and respect people that, bro, they've been there. They've done that. They went through the fire for real. My sister, Yo-Yo, in hip hop, she has to come talk to me. Like, where the fuck is Yo-Yo? Why she hadn't been? I'll hit her to see if she can come talk to my class. But she was on Sway in the Morning the other day, the same place where I just won Karaoke Queen at the top of the year. And she was speaking with Sway and Heather B. Shouts out to my boy Q the Music for that amazing experience at the top of the year again. And she was talking about something she told me when it was happening. She calls herself online Yo-Yo Fearless, at Yo-Yo Fearless. And my sister actually did teach me what it means to be fearless. She came and spoke at the Hip Hop Forum, and she told us there too. The fearlessness is how she got everything back after kind of getting on under the NWA family tree in this West Coast hip hop thing. And then tides change, winds shift things around, and time just does that to everybody. Everyone in this industry who's been here long enough, you know that feeling when people stop answering their phones for you because you're not so hot. You know the feeling when you stop getting the invites to the dope red carpets and the dope space and the dope places because people don't see you in the pictures with the person that they respect more than you anymore. You know how many people stopped ringing my line when I wasn't in calls with Dre every single day? You know how many people started ringing my line when they see me and Quick hanging out more often? It's so embarrassing how I feel for people that only see me when I stand next to someone they respect more than me. I feel embarrassed for them about how they don't see me. You know what I'm saying? But I bring that up because watching the process of picking yourself back up, I learned it through Yo-Yo and her fearlessness about being honest about starting over. I saw Exhibit when he was on the pharmacy go from everyone only referring to him as the guy that made Pimp My Ride, if people might not have even known that he made it, but he did. Yeah, that's the guy from Pimp My Ride, to at the time on the pharmacy with Dr. Dre. Then he was working on Empire. Then he was working on music. And then he helped J.O. Felony rebrand. And he helped this and he did that. And he went and he got Cannabis, the West Side. And I just watched this man win. Oh, the process, watching it up close. I respected all of his L's and all of his lessons and all of his wins. Same with Rhapsody. Same with, I get to watch these people and I'm so honored to be in their masterclass called Friendship with them for their lives. I don't run from my heartbreak. I don't run from my story. For any of you who might be lost in what I'm saying, at this time last year, I thought I would be a wife. I thought I would be one half of a power couple that was really worthy and really dope and really fly. And at the top of this year, I learned that someone didn't think that way anymore. Maybe never did. And didn't know how long they hadn't thought about us that way. Yet paraded around like that's what we was going to be on and that's what we would do. It happens. It's life. I don't hate the other person. I only pray that they find themselves because they're lost. And I'm happy because in their being lost, they might have even shown me how lost I was. And through being real and honest and sitting with heartbreak, I found this thing called joy. And in finding joy, I found Wyann. So please excuse me if I make heartbreak look beautiful. It's by accident, not design. My heart just happens to shatter and glitter. And before I get up and mother love and go, ding, pay your dues is in your face. Paying dues, yeah, bitch. Hey, that was dope. I felt that. I'm going to go back and listen to this. I know I am. I'm going to hold on to this episode. This episode means a lot to me. It might be my favorite episode in Raise It Up Why history. Easily. Pay Your Dues is the portion of the podcast where I big up businesses and people I feel you should know because they're too fly and they're too dope to keep to myself. My first, always and forever, is my cousin at ILOVETHEDOUX, at I Love the Do More Than You Knew on Instagram. My cousin Maya, her husband Brian, own this wonderful Black woman, Black veteran owned business that utilizes hip hop to brand each of their products. And my assistant and sister last episode told y'all that she was using Chief Rocker. Go Chief Rocker, number one, Chief Rocker. Boom, shakalaka, here we go. Chief Rock, go Chief. Hey. She told y'all she used it. She be having day 3 curls that be looking like day 1 curls. And when she was in Europe, this is what you use and it sustained you. The whole, like 2 weeks. So my baby sister just bought this for my niece. My niece has like thicker hair and stuff like that. And I know you said that this has a stronger hold, right? Chief Rocka Extreme Moisture Mousse has the components of Mousse Def and something else. Not Big Papa. It was something else. It's 2 things though. I just lost it. Maybe the banana gel one. The Go Bananas one. But it's like it's 2 things in one. Don't quote me about that mixture, by the way. Don't be telling my cousin on me that I don't be knowing her pitches and shit. But no, this product right here has such an extreme hold and it has a lot of moisture. I know it's going to be good for my baby, for my niece. Actually, what she told me to put on Winter's hair was Dear Mama and Chief Rocka. Dear Mama's Moisture Milk. So it's going to help her retain that moisture. This is going to lock it. That's going to lock it right there for her. Number 2 on the pay your dues list is my white nephews. They did not ask me to call them that, but that's what they are. At Spread Please, spelled exactly like it sounds. Don't make me do this. Spread Please is a brother-owned business in El Segundo, California, where these 2 young men, both under the age of 25, make the best damn smash burger you've had in a long damn while. Talk to me nicely if you talk to me at all today, okay? We're not here to make qualms about this. They've gone viral on TikTok. Oh, they closed the shop the other day because Wiz Khalifa was like, nah, run that back. And I'm having you guys come cater my own private event, and did it again. Yeah, Wiz Khalifa ain't about to let these boys keep a storefront very long if y'all don't act soon. You understand me? But Spread Please is an incredible space filled with love. They don't just spread nutrients and food. And, you know, I know this is a smash burger place. So we're not saying nutrients like their health. No, this is when you went to the gym and this is cheat day. This is when you've been doing your stuff right. And then Joy says, okay, you get a surprise. Hello? Wyann's been eating fucking hummus, pepper, boiled egg, repeat. Hummus, pepper, boiled egg, repeat. Hummus, spread please. Spread please is what I deserve at this point. That's what I get to have. All this damn sauna work that I've been doing. Muhammad got me doing this stuff for my damn knee in this sauna and sweating my nuts off. So yeah, don't have nuts actually, but the idea is I'm sweating them off if I did have them. And the idea is after you've been working your ass off, you zig, and you zag. You get your opportunity to scoot it back over. And when you get that day and you're in El Segundo, right south of LAX, if you're here visiting, 507 Main Street, El Segundo. If they haven't gotten their own storefront by the time y'all hear this, who knows? However, they do pop-ups, they cater, and they are called at Spread Please on both TikTok and Instagram. My baby nephews, love both of you. Number 3, let's get into it. Y'all be loving my jewelry. Talk to me forever nicely. How do y'all know Aiden? Aiden, if you're still listening, go to bed. It's too late. It's just late when I'm recording this. It's actually probably, I don't know what time of day it is when you put this on. Mom, Dad, respect to you and Josh. Hello. At OPA_collection, no S at the end. I keep putting S's at the end and then it comes up. They're like, hey, your girl's business is no longer there. And I'm like, no, I just don't know how to spell her handle. Opa Collection is headed up by my homegirl, Paulette. I call her P. Y'all can probably call her P too. If you enjoy my ear cuff, is she a little sexy? I don't know. I'm just saying, like, she's ear cuff and it's cuffing season. When they love me, they cuff me. Anyways, you can go see my homegirl at Citadel Outlets or Ontario Mills. Those are not both in LA. One is in the IE and one is in LA. I say that because people come out of town to be like, hey, why? I'm in your city. I'm like, oh, where you at? Shoot, over here in, what is this? Ontario? Hey, yo, don't call me no more, huh? You practically out of state. I don't go that way. I don't go all the way out to the IE, respectfully. So, if you are in LA, you will see my girl in the City of Commerce at the Citadel Outlets, Opa_collection. Let them know Raise It Up Why sent you. Gold filled as well as solid gold jewelry. If you are wanting to look nice and cute and you are on a budget, get your gold filled jewelry. If you want to invest deeply, most of my pieces are invested deeply pieces, and those are solid gold, 14 and 18 carats. Please talk to her nicely if you talk to her at all. She's P at Opa_collection. And that's where I met Aiden. I love that. And since we're talking about love culture, I met Aiden and Josh, 6 and 9, on a Friday night. The night before, I met another one of my loves. I had never seen this love at a love lounge. They haven't gone in person, nothing like that. However, she saw me eating after class one Thursday in Manhattan Beach. She brought over her 78-year-old mother, who looked like she could have been her sister. Black don't crack, hashtag. And I took a picture with them the night before I meet our newest loves, Aiden and Josh, 6 and 8. I meet a 57-year-old woman and her 78-year-old mom. Both of them look like they were in their 40s. Stop playing with black women, first of all. But anyways, it was just the dynamic of my Latino baby boys, my white nephews at Spread Please, my black grown women who support not just Wyann and Raise It Up Why, but also the emotions. Like, I've got this joy, 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 joy down in my heart. You understand? Like, I don't know. This might be one of the best episodes for me personally. I know when I listen back to it, I'm going to feel what's happening on the inside of me right now. I don't know if you guys can, but it's real. It is so real. Number 4, talk to her forever nicely. I don't need out arrangements. Hello? That's called applause. At ownit_Ashe, right behind that camera there, is the founder, the creator, and the designer of these beautiful things. Leave my water alone. I know I didn't sip it this whole episode because I didn't want to leave blank spots in the fucking episode, okay? So yes, I have a water that's behind these beautiful flowers. It just happens to match. Okay, I'm just saying, like, let it be here. These are what? Peonies and star lilies? Rose lilies. These, I really, really like this. I think also because it's the color of the blush pink and the green, and that's the color of the heart chakra. Have you been in my bathroom yet? Mm-hmm. You'll notice the pink and green in the colors, because you're going to think I'm telling an untruth. I started upgrading and decorating my bathroom before I read the book. It was just something that I felt like I wanted to do. Yeah. And then the colors that I used being pink and green and of the heart chakra, I just can't make some of this up, guys. I just, Haroni.arrangements, HARONI.arrangements spelled correctly, is available for you to book for any special occasion, even if it's just renewing your space. It doesn't have to be so celebratory, even though celebrations are great. If you came to the last Love Lounge, everyone left with a Haroni arrangement. people talked about that. People took your arrangements on planes with them and took them back home. Shouts out Vanessa Black. I was like, that is so special. Who does that? That is so special. There's a great appreciation for me with this young lady, this young woman, watching her become the entrepreneur that she is and seeing how much joy her arrangements bring to people. It's kind of uncanny, but I digress. Remember when I said I was here for a good time, not a long time? I clearly told an untruth.
This is your favorite episode. So.
Clearly. I usually talk this long when there's two people here. Sorry, y'all. If any of y'all thought y'all was going to get out of here, I hope y'all put this on 1.5. Listen fast. But the idea is Opa Collections, really quickly, it doesn't have S at the end. Opa Collection donated 18 karat gold filled jewelry to the Fosters, namely Jackie Joe. Tony Foster had already won something from Love Culture in a Love Lounge. So I was going to send it to him, but I'm like, they're moving into a new home. I want to get something for Jackie Joe as well as like a housewarming gift from me. It wasn't from Love Culture. This was from my bank, like for me personally, right? I get down there the night that I met Aiden and them. I get down there to tell P about, and I said P, I probably popped that. Pop that P. No. My bad. But anyways, it's late. I told her about this. She waited till some of her customers left and she was like, well, if it's Love Culture and if we're celebrating people, then that's the one that you're going to give her. I'm going to give her this one, and gave her another set of earrings. Mine had emeralds. Hers didn't. Hers had solid gold, and donated. When I tell you that we do good for no good reason, it's not words on a piece of paper. It's not just something that sounds cute and is a slogan. This is what we do. And do you know what I'm doing for P? She won't know. She won't know because this episode's going to come out after I do it. I'm picking her up. She saw me post about spread, please. She was like, what I wouldn't give for one of those burgers. You see what's about to happen, right? I wish y'all understood how the doing good for no good, like it's a carousel. I don't know. Love Culture for the fucking win, bro. Like that's what it is, and that's what it's always been, and that's what it's gonna stay. So number 5, I think, I don't know what I'm on. 1 was the do, 2 was spread please, 3 was P and Opa Collection, 4 was, I need to start listening to myself. 4 was Haroni Arrangement, 5 Raise It Up Why. At RAISEITUPWY, and the loves say rockets up on these home. Aiden, don't say that. The deal is this. There's new music coming. Yes, I already gave you music. You will understand the title of this episode when you hear the extended version of Start Falling. Start falling for yourself. Start. Let me tell you guys something. The best decision of your life is a decision to start something. Once you decide it, any single thing you can think that puts you towards the direction of it. I used to tell Onette and them, you don't even have to put rocket fuel in your jet. Just tilt the rocket up. Just be ready to look up, and didn't even think about the fact that that's transcendence. Go up. You see what I'm saying? And these are all things that I said before this year, before we needed this. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. That's one of the new products in the new line of the Do. It's called Block Party. She has something called Stay Ready. She also has anti-humectant spray for people who their hair take a long time to dry, and it's a drying formula called DJ Quick. Someone may have parlayed Someone may have parlayed, said, DJ Quick is in the motherfucker. Yeah. This is a day. This is a great day. And this episode went long. I hope you guys enjoyed spending more time with me because I don't apologize. I'm long-winded. Let me. And if you need to take this episode, chop it up in a few different sittings to listen to it, then do so. But get the goodness, all right? If it's raining blessings outside, don't be the person that puts up an umbrella. Don't block your own blessings, right? So if it takes a long time to listen to this episode, so be it. But be here with me whenever you're here with me, incrementally or fully. But when you're here, be here because this episode is going to bless me. This was for Wyann. I just shared it with y'all because this is about me. It's about joy. And I'm just here sharing it with y'all. I hope you were able to capture some of it. It's a good listen. And it's a good feeling, right? Thank y'all for being a part of Love Culture. Thank y'all for loving boldly. I'm looking at your merch from last year. And thank you for being lovers, not cowards. Next merch run. Ooh, yeah. You now. So, it's her birthday coming up, by the way. I love y'all. Stay real. Boom cat. Voodoo. Hey, raise it up. Why? Raise it up in real life. Up. Why? Raise it up in real life. You bitch you.
Raise it up, why? Hey, raise it up. Hey, raise it up, why? Raise it up. Hey, raise it up, why? Raise it up.